If you're going to choose to do something like a diploma or any other really long course of study, then you need to make sure you get the decision absolutely right before you start. It's a lot of time, it's a lot of money, it's a big commitment. Hi, I'm John Chisholm, the Managing Director and Founder at Crescente. I've put together some advice for people who are maybe looking to make decision to study a Chartered Management Institute qualification via the sort of self-study route. There's lots of different training providers out there. Obviously, we're one of them. So I guess this is a sort of elaborate why choose Crescente. So I'll present our points of difference, our unique selling points, if you like. But actually, I'm hoping it's just useful information generally. I guess it's relevant if it's any kind of qualification. It's a really big commitment. Doing a qualification, even if you choose a small one, it's probably going to take quite a lot of your time. If you're going to choose to do something like a diploma or any other really long course of study, then you need to make sure you get the decision absolutely right before you start. It's a lot of time, it's a lot of money, it's a big commitment. So yeah. I'm going to split the video up and we'll look at a few different ideas, sort of decision-making criteria. So one of the first things for you to consider when choosing a self-study qualification is the style, tone, and I guess the expectation you have of the provider. So we've got 20 years of experience now, as much as it slightly pains me to say that, delivering specifically management and leadership qualifications. So that should give you a bit of a sense of where we're coming from. We've got lots of experience. We deliver a lot of corporate programs, so we're not just sort of selling courses on the internet. We do, but actually a lot of our work in the past and still now is corporate programs. So the style and the expectation there is that you should expect a sort of a very professional and responsive and modern and accurate and inclusive experience learning with us. So my first thought for you in terms of decision making for what provider you should choose is it the right style and tone for you? Another decision-making criteria for you when you're deciding what self-study provider to go with is whether they're a specialist provider or not. So here at Crescente, we specialise in Chartered Management Institute qualifications. We have offered ILM and EdXL and other things in the past, and we still currently deliver on other accredited programmes in a corporate setting. But with regard to our online self-study distance learning qualifications, it's all CMI. So what? Well, what does that mean? Because we're a specialist provider, we have a great relationship with CMI for a start. Hopefully they'll say the same. And we know the products inside out. We know all of the different units very, very well. We've produced a lot of additional materials specifically around each unit, enhance the assignment briefs, the learning and the studying experience, but also the guidance, etc. So I'll probably come back to some of that in another video. When you're choosing a provider, do they offer lots of different qualifications? So you're choosing a management qualification from a company that might also do a maths GCSE for you or something, or do you want to come to a specialist provider? And I think a lot of people come to us because we do specialise in management and leadership, and I think that's probably why we have a disproportionate amount of kind of more senior managers and people wanting to go into senior roles. So I think our two of our top three most popular qualifications over the last sort of year or two are level 7, but we do provide level 2 to level 7. So are they a specialist provider? What does that mean? It's probably worth mentioning, and I might mention later on as well, we have a 100% pass rate. So that means you will pass your qualification, and that's using the CMI's own marking service. That's not us marking our own homework. So we're really proud of that. And it's just sort of indicative of the fact that we're kind of experts in CMI. Think about whether they're a specialist provider or not. So building on my previous video, thinking about decision-making criteria, which training provider should you choose to study your CMI qualification? Well, I was talking about being a specialist provider in the last short video. This one builds on that. Think about the training provider's experience and expertise. So who's going to be delivering the qualification for you, the tutors and so on? What's their background? What level have they worked at? So, for example, we run management and leadership qualifications, and our faculty, as I think you'd probably call it, are all practicing consultants and coaches, all working in corporate environments. Probably, I think we've all worked in senior management, or quite middle senior and senior and executive roles. So that gives us more of a sense of kind of empathy, like we understand what situation you're in. And we currently work in lots of workplaces too as consultants. So experience and expertise. We do have sometimes people contact us saying that they have spoken to other training providers and they've spoken to a salesperson. And I can understand as larger training providers might want to kind of push that idea out, the sales bit, to say to a separate company, but they don't know the CMI products very well. So building on that kind of experience and expertise for us, because we offer every single unit, then that's a wider choice. And I think I'm probably going to do a separate video on that. But actually, we know we can advise really carefully as to what we think might be best for you. So it's not just the choice, it's the choice and helping you to decide. So yeah, I think that's just check people's experience and expertise, and make sure you like the tutors, see if you can meet the tutors, etc. We really encourage people to pick up a discovery call with us, just because you can get to meet us and just check. It speaks to the style, tone and expectation video I've just done as well. So yeah, that's another criteria to consider. Thanks. So the next thing I think you should consider when you're choosing a training provider for your self-study CMI qualification is the choice. I've mentioned this in one of these previous videos. Your circumstances are unique to you. And as such, we provide all of the units for all of the qualifications we offer. There's the odd one or two that we don't, for certain reasons, but it's most, if not all. We tend to find that people are either retrospectively getting a qualification. They've been an experienced manager. CMI refers to people as accidental managers sometimes. Well, we meet lots of those. You've become a manager because you've shown some capability and willing and so on in the past, and now you're thinking, maybe do I know everything that I need to know? I better go and look back. And that particularly seems to be at level 5 for some reason. People want to do that and go, well, what have I learned and what do I know? So that's the retrospective. I think sometimes people are then the other way around. They're looking kind of prospectively. They need the qualification for a job application. So maybe on jobs it says, on the spec it says desirable or sometimes essential criteria that you must have a management qualification or a management qualification at a particular level. So often we're helping people with that. And then again, part of that in terms of looking forward is thinking, well, I'm in an operational management role, but I want to be in a senior management role. What qualification do I need to do? What would be most relevant? What is it that I'm going to need to think and say and be able to do? So skills, knowledge and experience and so on for that future role. So you're looking to get into senior management roles. So they're the most common, I guess, kind of situations people are in. But then, like I've just mentioned before that, your circumstances are unique to you. So if you already know, and again, this is when we get into the detail a little bit with people, when before you've bought the qualification, book a discovery call, we'll help you. Even if you end up choosing somebody else, we're happy to help anyway. We'd rather you chose us, obviously, but not if we're not right for you. So Yeah, like, if you already know finance or something, then you probably don't want to choose that unit. Or if, I don't know, you're thinking you want to consolidate, so you want to understand some like senior leadership knowledge and what am I going to need to know, or strategy or whatever. So it depends on what you've learned already. And that's why offering the widest choice of units like we do really helps you to kind of tune into exactly which ones you want to, are going to be relevant for you. There's no point in covering something you already know. Unless you want to, but I can't really see the benefit in that. It's a bit sort of suboptimal a little bit. So why not choose the units that are going to stretch you and are going to be meaningful for you? And also stuff that you find interesting as well, obviously. So a lot of people like getting into strategy or change management or whatever. And CMI is great because it gives you an opportunity just to kind of dip your toes in the water and just test it out and write a bit about stuff without having to do a whole master's degree on it or something. So yeah, choice of units. Just check if you're choosing a training provider that they offer the units and the support with those units that you're looking for. Okay, so the next criteria that I think you should consider when choosing a CMI self-study qualification is your success. So I've mentioned in a previous video, and I'm more than happy to mention it here again, we have a 100% pass first time rate. As long as so we've helped you out to choose the right units in the first place. This is all built into that kind of longer term journey and that preparation. You're motivated to do the units, you're interested in them, it's meaningful and relevant to your work now or the work that you want to go into. That's a big deal. We've offered lots of support and guidance. So we offer unlimited tutorials. And that really is unlimited tutorials. There'll be one-to-one. We don't do any group work anymore. But unlimited one-to-one tutorials seems to work well because it's got more flexibility. And I think that seems to outweigh the group stuff these days. But if you're looking for group work, then we're probably not the right provider unless you're looking for a corporate program. But that's a whole different conversation, I suppose. So 100% pass rate is what I'm going on about. We will make sure that you pass as long as you're writing it. We will guide you and support you. So unlimited assignment writing support. And that can be on video calls, it can be on email, we'll send separate guidance document. We can do asynchronous stuff, so we record feedback for people on the screen, but just as a recording, so you can kind of pick it up later if you're studying, I don't know, on a Sunday afternoon or something like that, then you've got it there. So whatever we can possibly do. And we're quite creative and inventive as well, so we'll make sure you've got the support you need. Start dates, again, in terms of your success, often is that flexibility, so you can start whenever you want and finish whenever you want, and you can take as long as you want if you study with Crescent. Just check if you're looking at other training providers, what is the duration of the support? So it may even be worth me doing a separate video on this because it's such an important point and I've buried it in the middle of this video. But like the duration of the support. So CMI will give you 1 year for an award, 3 years for a certificate, diploma or extended diploma. And at Crescent, we will honour that entire time. So if you've got a year to complete one unit, you've got halfway through it and you want to take 3 months off for summer or something like that, or some other work thing or personal things come up, other priority, then you know that we'll still be there. You can pick it back up again. So please look out for other training providers where they will say you have to finish each unit in 12 weeks, or maybe for the overall qualification, they'll support you for 2 years. For a diploma, let's say, we'll support you for 3 years. And don't tell anyone, but we do sometimes have people who even get an extension on the 3 years, and that's totally okay, provided CMI are okay about it as well. So yeah, support duration, pass rates, and obviously in terms of your success, I've alluded to it in this video, I've mentioned it in previous ones, is about checking that the entry requirements are right. So we'll check that it's the right qualification for you. We're required to do that anyway, but we want to make sure it's the right level and the right topic and even the right awarding body for you. So if it's not right, then we'll tell you that early on and you can go and look for something else or choose a different provider. So that's your success, and support durations and the nature of the support as well. Just check with the different providers exactly what you're going to get, what's available, how much time, and then the duration of the support as well. So I hope that's useful. The next criteria that I think you should think about when you're choosing a self-study training provider is the learning experience. This is probably starting to become a bit of an overlap now with some of the other videos in this little series. But just check what the learning experience is. How will you start? How will you contact tutors? How will you get the guidance and support? How often is it? What's available? Who are the tutors? I think I've mentioned that in the expertise video. So with us, the learning experience essentially is that obviously there's a lot of upfront stuff before you've even bought the qualification to check it's right and to help you choose units and so on. But once you get started, there's probably 2 or 3 different study methods that people tend to choose, but it's whatever works for you. So we'll help you with some study skills chat at the beginning. We'll help you come up with a learning plan. We'll help you kind of to set some milestones and deadlines for yourself, for your study, that sort of thing. And then when you get started and realize maybe that was too ambitious or not ambitious enough, then we can adjust all of that. So for example, sometimes what works really well is if people book a regular call. So we'll have an hour call to go through your first assignment and show you all the resources and help you choose learning materials and learning content that is right for you, and work out any sort of additional learning needs, accessibility, etc. And that is all about you. That is with us, with a tutor that's going to support you through your course. You're not going to be jumping around with different people so much. And then you can go off and kind of get into it a little bit and then maybe book a regular call every couple of weeks. So it's almost a little bit like we're sort of goalkeeping, we're keeping your deadlines. Sometimes those calls are only relatively short, but it helps people to stay focused and on track. We have other people that we don't hear from them for a while, 3 or 4 weeks, and then they take a day of annual leave or try and grab some time on a Friday or something like that, lock themselves away and just try and write quite a bit of the assignment and do the study and maybe just do it in little sprints and so on. So there's quite a few different, whatever works for you really. That's the whole point of self-study, I guess. But we're not just going to kind of leave you to it. There's as much goalkeeping and as much tutorial and assignment writing support as you need. So that is, just thinking about the learning experience. Just try and suss that out if you're going around different providers. My final criteria for decision-making criteria for how to try and help you choose a training provider for a self-study CMI qualification is the costs and how you're going to spread the costs. We offer award, certificate, diploma, and where it's available, extended diploma. So on a lot of the qualifications, because they're modular, that's a really good way of spreading the cost and spreading the risk. So why not just choose an award, which is like 1 unit and it's much cheaper. And then the top-up costs are basically the difference between the 2 prices. There is a top-up fee, but we tend to absorb that most of the time. So what are the costs? How do you spread it? You can do pay in 3 on PayPal and Klarna, maybe, those sorts of things. So they're available through Crescente. And we do payment plans for people as well. So lots of different payment options, really. In terms of costs, you'll find that most providers are the same. I think we're a little bit more expensive on some qualifications than others. And we try and keep an eye on that and rein our prices in now and again. I would also say, don't be afraid with us and with any other training provider to make an offer. We won't be offended. This is a work thing. And you can dust off your negotiating skills and, have a little bit of a go. It's not a problem at all. If you've got a budget and a need, then just give us a shout and kind of put it past us and see what we can do, either as a payment plan or as some kind of discount. We offer a range of discounts. You will also find some providers out there that are cheap or very cheap. Just bear in mind my other criteria that I've put across to you in these videos. Just if if you find something that's really, really cheap. One of our learners showed me recently a qualification where he'd bought the absolute cheapest. It wasn't a CMI qual, it was another awarding body. It's a project management qualification, and it was the rock bottom price that he could possibly find. And the learning materials were, someone had just photocopied each page of the study guide and uploaded it like a really sort of not great quality kind of scan of a page, and that was it. That was the study guide, and then he had to pay for his own exam. So really all he'd paid for was quite a few £100 just for a photocopy of the book. You could have bought the book for 25 quid and taken the exam on his own. So just if you're not sure, please do just give us a call, and just be mindful of the cheaper prices. I appreciate sometimes, all of the time, money is tight for people, but just be careful that you're not paying and then going to end up needing to pay again. So do, again, like I've said throughout these, give us a call. I'll put the links in these videos. You can go on our website, Crescent with an E on the end, co.uk, and book a discovery call and have a chat. There's information packed PDFs that you can download and so on as well. So that's a little bit about cost. I think you'll find most providers are mid-price, so it'll be tricky to kind of trade off on costs, I would have thought. But if you find a provider you like the look of, hopefully it's us, and then, like I said a few times on this video, give us a call.